Hey guys, it's One Battle On, and today I'm going to do something a bit different. You guys have probably already seen reviews of the LEGO Batman movie minifigures, so rather than doing a review, I'd like to provide knowledge and hopefully shed some light on some of these more obscure characters from the series. I also want to provide my personal opinion on how accurate the minifigure designs are when compared to their comic book source. Initially, I didn't know who some of these characters were or how they tied into the whole Batman universe. And so after educating myself, I thought that others may also appreciate some of this information that I've collected. Now, let's get on to it. Her real name is Camilla Orton, and she made her debut in 1987. Batman chased her down after she stole the clapper of the main churches in Gotham. She surprised Batman by using her electrified gloves, which led to her escape. Shortly after, she was arrested by Batman and Robin after attacking the Blister Twister Band at a civic center. She was never again heard of or appeared in any real continuity after that. Camille is your typical Gotham nutcase that practices the art of being a mime. And she is also known to be a classically trained dancer. She carries a pistol with a silencer, but uses her electrified gloves as backup. Although the gloves don't appear to be lethal, they are powerful enough to even knock out Batman. LEGO's representation of the mime is quite good. It was important for LEGO to print on the striping onto the arms and legs, and they did a good job there. The use of the mohawk piece was a good choice, but I think it should have been more accurate in black. The torso is done up pretty well. It appears that LEGO has taken the liberty in making a few changes to her costume. For one, the lace design should actually be lower, but I can understand the decision for the change. It also seems that they gave her a belt, since I haven't seen any references of her actually wearing one. The collar/choker with the spikes is printed on the top of her torso to give the illusion that it goes around the neck, which is accurate and a nice touch. Her face is well designed, but I just wished it was more expressionless or emotionless, which I think would have been more kind of better suited for a mime. There isn't too much detail in the back, but you can see a bit of the striping detail here and the continuation of the belt printing. Grace Ballin is a marine biologist that became paralyzed after being involved in an accident. Even with lack of funding, she experiments with spinal cord tissue regeneration using Orca's spinal cord tissue on herself, which eventually led to her transformation into Orca. Batman first encountered her during Orca's heist of the Flame of Persia diamond from the rogue millionaire Camille Baden Smith. Her goal was to sell the diamond and to use the proceeds to help fund projects for the underprivileged. And although she wanted to help, unfortunately she went about the wrong way. Her eventual death was later orchestrated by the villain, Great White Shark. Orca has enhanced strength and endurance. She has exceptional swimming abilities and the ability to swim underwater for long periods of time. Batman was forced to utilize a specialized aquatic costume to be able to go toe to toe with her. I'm going to get straight to the point on this one. I don't think this minifigure is accurate at all. From a minifig design standpoint, you can't tell whether she's female, but from her comic book art, you can clearly tell that she definitely is a she, from the very feminine body curves. This isn't captured in the design of the minifigure at all. It would have been better if they printed on the female body details onto the torso. My other complaint has to do with the fins. LEGO should have used minifigure arms in black instead, as I've never seen a reference material showing that she has fins. My complaint is pretty much the same as everyone else's, with the fact that orcas don't have gills. I understand that they probably reused the shark mold and repurposed it for this character to cut down on costs, but it still would have been nice if they didn't try to cut corners here. I'm not a big fan of this open mouth look either. It definitely doesn't look accurate based on the reference material that I've seen. And just overall, this minifigure is probably my least favorite of the bunch due to the reasons I've described. March Harriet, also known as Harriet Pratt, is a grifter and escort who wears a rabbit-themed costume. She was recruited by Tweedledum and Tweedledee to serve as the March Hare for their new Wonderland gang. Batman tracks down and encounters the Wonderland gang and March Harriet in the House of Mirrors at the Gotham Amusement Park. She is an expert grifter and escort. The two problems I have with this figure is, one, she could have used a new hairpiece mold with bunny ears molded onto it, and two, instead of printing on her dress, they could have used a cloth element that goes between the torso and legs, like something they've done in the past, in order to more easily discern her outfit. They probably reused the bunny ears to cut down costs again, but as such, I felt like it takes away from the personality of the character. I do like the armband printing and the overall consistency of the printing of her outfit from the front and the back. Her devious expression is also appropriate for this character. The Zodiac Master is a masked supervillain who made his presence known in Gotham City by predicting a series of disasters, all of which he secretly orchestrated. Having duped most of the city, he then offered his services as an underworld consultant, using his supposed astrological skills to foretell the outcome of various proposed crimes. All the Zodiac elements from his body can be used as weapons or as a form of distraction. With the exception of Libra, all the other elements could be used as projectiles. And in addition, the Scorpio projectile also functioned as a bola. Zodiac Master's head is fantastic. I really like how LEGO designed his eyes and the Z logo on his head. And overall, the printing on this figure is very nice. The Zodiac symbols are printed all over his costume, but the problem is they aren't positioned in the correct places. Also, all of the Zodiac symbols are printed in gold on the figure, but that isn't how it is in his original costume. As you can see, most of them are black. The Eraser was the chosen alias of Lenny Fiasco, who turned to crime after living his college days under constant mocking and taunting by his classmates. He wore a costume of a pencil. Fiasco is a professional at covering the tracks of other crimes. For a 20% cut, the Eraser will erase the evidence of another crime. The Eraser wore shoes tipped with pencil point blades that could also emit a sleeping gas. He wore a mask topped off with a giant eraser that could rub out evidence from crime scenes like footprints and fingerprints. This is one of the more accurate minifigures from the series and one of my personal favorites. The striping on his suit looks great, and it's a good thing that the lines all line up from the torso down to his legs. It's also nice to have the stripes printed on his back, arms, and the side of his legs. Very nice that LEGO printed the tip of the pencil details to the inside of his feet as well. The new custom head mold is nearly perfect. I just wish they printed on his pupils in black. That would have made it a little bit more accurate. Otherwise, this is a great minifigure and very accurate to the source material. Before reinventing himself, the Calculator began his criminal career by crossing the country and getting into fights with various superheroes. He would then press a button on his special costume that would analyze and record their battle tactics, ensuring he wouldn't be beaten again by the hero that just defeated him. He has genius level intellect. The Calculator uniform is equipped with a high-powered computer capable of analyzing an opponent's battle tactics and being able to predict their actions. The projector in his helmet is capable of materializing solid objects from an unknown energy source. The Calculator no longer uses his battlesuit, and his whereabouts are currently unknown. The Calculator is a cool looking minifigure, but LEGO has made some compromises with it. The entire armor should have been opted out, and instead, the details on his bodysuit should have been printed onto his torso. This includes the detail for the calculator, as I personally feel like the armor piece gives the figure too much bulk. Also, he doesn't actually wear a helmet in the comics. It should just be goggles that go over his eyes, but I can understand the compromise here. LEGO would have needed to create an entirely new mold with goggles that go over his eyes and down his back. Due to these compromises, I do feel like the overall look of the character is incomplete, as it breaks the continuity of the original design of the suit. It just doesn't have that wired to his calculator kind of look from the original costume. William Omaha McElroy was a highly regarded professor of Egyptology at Yale University until he was struck by a rock during a protest. After regaining consciousness, McElroy woke up believing that he was the reincarnation of King Tut and that Gotham is the ancient city of Thebes. His goal was to claim Gotham, that is Thebes, as his own. He was one of 2 villains to have uncovered Batman's secret identity as Batman. Most of the time, when he was defeated by Batman, he would revert back to his normal scholarly self with no memory of what had happened. King Tut was equipped with a lead pestle, sneezing powder, Abu Rabu Simbu II, an ancient Egyptian potion which can paralyze human will, and the Sphinx, a radio transmission equipment that is used to speak to the people of Gotham. There's a lot of complex printed details on this minifigure. As you can see, his design isn't symmetrical either. In terms of minifigure accuracy, I think LEGO nailed it. The golden riveted sash that goes across the chest and continues down across his legs looks wonderful. I also like the stripe printing detail to represent the layer of clothing that goes underneath his robing. The beetle emblem on his chest is also very nicely done. The only ding that I can give this figure is the lack of printing of the beetle emblem in the center of his Egyptian headdress. If they were to print the emblem onto it, it would mean having the need to create a completely new mold. The striping detail on the headdress is accurate and implemented well. Originally a supervillain and arch-rival of Batman, Catman started off as Thomas Blake, a world-famous trapper of jungle cats that turned to crime because he had grown bored with hunting. He became a burglar who committed crimes in a catsuit made of an ancient African cloth. Catman is an Olympic-level athlete and skilled in hand-to-hand combat. He's able to go toe-to-toe with Batman and is also one of the world's foremost hunter and tracker. He wears razor-tipped gauntlets and uses sharp-edged catarang, which is modeled after Batman's batarang, and even a utility belt that is similar to Batman's. He also has a pet Siberian tiger named Rasputin that he has trained to help him commit crimes. Catman is one of my favorite in the series. The design and printing details on the minifigure is pretty spot on, from the slash logo across his chest to the straps that come down over his shoulders and underneath the arms. Although the recolored Batman utility belt is a good decision here, it isn't completely accurate as the center of his belt has a diamond-shaped design to it. The brown gloves and boots are nicely included by the virtue of the brown minifigure hands and dual-moded boots. Unfortunately, there's no back muscle printing underneath the cape, but it doesn't bother me too much as I never take off the cape to be able to see that flaw. I'm not a huge fan of the Wolverine claws that come included, but there really isn't any better choice as a new mold will need to be produced specifically for this character. And that concludes my brief assessment of the more obscure characters from the LEGO Batman minifigure lineup. Now it's your turn to let me know what you think of these minifigures and the character that they personify by leaving a comment below. Until next time, bye!